What's black and white and Pink Floyd all over? Why, it's Sync Floyd, the podcast where we watch every movie ever made to see if it syncs up with Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. My name is Gareth Blackler, and huddled up with all his best bros sitting on the egg of podcast glory, it's James Barron. Hello, James.
Hi, Premier Pinguino podcaster James Barron here, reporting in from my huddle of friends. How are you? I'm trying to keep warm out here. I'm reporting live from the ice shelf.
Oh, yeah, we should mention that right up top.
Yeah, definitely.
You received a special exemption to travel to the Antarctic.
Yeah, well, there's
just for this episode.
Very few people out there, so it's all good. I only needed to lock down with the Pinguino bros out here. So we formed a community together. They've gathered around me, and because I'm about 3 feet taller than all of them, they've accepted me as the true emperor of the Emperor Penguin. So, yeah, it's going great for me.
There was a penguin, and we will name what movie we watched soon. There was a penguin that went extinct about the same time as the continental shift. Oh. That was as tall as the average man.
Holy shit.
Damn. 5'10". Yeah.
Wow. That's really tall. I like it.
And yeah, that's a tall penguin.
I kind of wish they were still around just so that we could chum it up with them.
Yeah.
And they like confuse us for other penguins. That would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Aw, that would be fun. Yeah. To be honest, though, if you told me emperor penguins were 5'10", I would believe that. Like, until about an hour ago when I finished being completely full of penguin knowledge, I would have believed anything. But now I'm a penguin expert, and nothing can stop me, because this week we're exclusively talking about 2005's March of the Penguins.
Yes. I feel like such a criminal for suggesting this.
No, it's so good. Well, I mean, we'll get into the conceit of the show, but like, it was a good choice for this concept, for this experience. It was honestly, like, sometimes syncing a film, it's like watching a movie on hard mode. It's like not as fun as actually just watching it. This was a breeze. This was almost therapeutic. I would lie down and just watch like half an hour of Penguin and Pink Floyd goodness, and then just go about my day like recharged. It was as if I was walking to the ocean, getting to swim, which is what I'm better at, and then returning to the ice flow. It was beautiful.
Yeah. In your prime, you know, you're in your element watching this with the Floyd, you know? Yeah. Yeah. I like it a lot.
What is your relationship with documentaries? Because I feel like this was the first documentary to like blow up. Like, it was playing in cinemas. There was so many like easy jokes people were making about Morgan Freeman's voice. It was the biggest documentary since they stopped making documentaries exclusively and started making narrative cinema.
Yeah. My relationship with documentaries, I'm not like a huge fan of them in general. Like, I have seen them, and like every time I watch them, I tend to enjoy them. But like, I don't watch them nearly as much as I should, and I hadn't seen this one before, or I hadn't seen. I barely watch them, honestly. But every time I do, I come away with a bit of knowledge. So bloody recommend a documentary. Yeah.
Yeah, I come and go on them. Like, I'll go deep on one or two, and then I'll be like, it feels like it's very trend heavy, a documentary. I think because it's so found in the editing.
Yes.
Like what the documentary is. And editing is maybe a quicker process that's closer to the end. So like, maybe someone's worked on a documentary for like 6 years, but then Tiger King blows up, so they start editing it and marketing it like Tiger King, and then you end up with something kind of that feels like you're following a fad.
Yeah.
And so I never get down with the like cheaper, the imitation, the also-rans of the documentary world. Like, I'm kind of getting over the true crime kind of stuff, and
yeah. No shade on true crime dominating the podcast bracket, by the way. Like,
yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Completely It's so interesting because I got into dumb podcasts like this one. And then now, like, they're mainly known for, smart documentaries or self-improvement or murder.
Yeah.
And when you're like, what do you listen to, Gareth? I'm like, these guys eat food and insult each other.
Yeah.
This guy watched a movie. Yeah, that's interesting. Here's us keeping the dumbness alive in the podcast industry.
This is how it started, okay? Before there was true crime, there were two idiots with microphones, okay?
Yeah. The true crime that no one stopped them.
Exactly. No one's reporting on that yet. The truest crime.
They robbed themselves by paying for hosting and microphones.
Oh, no.
They killed their own careers by putting out this stuff once a week.
Nah, this is fine. I've only had good things from this podcast, so there you go.
Good.
Yeah. Should we talk Pinguino?
Yeah. Oh, what is your relationship with the penguin? Made that sound like one specific penguin. You know the one. But like penguins in general.
The Danny DeVito one. No, I like penguins a fair bit. I've seen them live in concert at the Antarctic Centre, visited small penguins, and in their natural habitat. If you go far enough south in New Zealand, there are penguins just chilling out on rocks and stuff, and I've seen them there as well. So I like penguins a fair bit. They're quality animals. Important to note, though, going in, it's very lucky that this documentary isn't in smell-o-vision, because penguins, they smell real bad. Fun fact.
They do. That's so true.
Yeah.
Well, they secrete oil, like, to stay warm and dry.
Yeah.
So, like, it's no surprise.
It's fair enough. Like, honestly, like, you can't knock them for that, because when things are cold, when you're hunkering down for winter, like, hygiene standards tend to go out of the window because your focus on survival is more important.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And all you're eating is fish and you're not moving.
Yeah.
You're gonna stink up the place. But luckily, like, I guess the Antarctic is... Fun fact, this is one of the facts you're going to get from the show. The Antarctic is real big, so the smell can probably travel quite far away.
Not a lot of trees to get in the way.
No.
Soak up the smell.
Those notorious smell blockers.
Yeah, I don't know. What's your relationship like with both documentary and Ping?
Oh, documentary pro.
Yep.
In the end?
Good.
Yeah. I love it when a guy just thinks he's making a documentary about something else, but then it turns out to be about himself. That's what's fun. And Penguin, also pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very different to us. They're very different to birds. I used to have this book when I was a kid called The Penguin Who Wished He Could Fly, and it was a powerful lesson. This is the Gareth Blackler Book Club book report, age 30.
All right.
He wished he could fly, and he'd jump off like high heights, but he'd just fall into the ice. He just couldn't do it. He was having a rough time, and then he swam. And he realized that's how the penguin flies. It's in the ocean. And the lesson is, be yourself.
Oh.
And it was very important.
Find your niche.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's very wholesome.
It was good. I think it was from the gift shop of Cully Tolton's. Which, if you haven't heard of that, that's, it's an aquarium in Auckland that I think used to be silver pipes, and they've turned them into beautiful fish pipes, and you can ride on a little conveyor belt and look up at some fish, and you can also look at some penguins. Yeah. And you can also smell those penguins. So
it's true.
Win-win-win.
Oh man, I have a Kelly Tarleton story actually. I visited there, and as you know from this podcast, if you've been paying attention, I was a very scared child in general. So there was a ride that you could go on that showed different. It was like dioramas, as if you were in a museum and there's like exhibits that you're walking past. Everything was set up with animatronics and stuff, and you'd ride in this little I don't know, like 4-wheel drive machine thingy in the back, and you'd, as if you were in Antarctica, and you'd be visiting all the different animals. It was like a specific exhibit for Antarctica. And I remember going around on this and seeing a little penguin chilling out in the water, and it just gets eaten by a big seal. And it freaked me out.
This is animatronic,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Ah, yes. I also have the repressed childhood memory you've just unlocked of this.
Yes, and then I think later on in the thing, the same thing happens, but with the seal gets eaten by a killer whale, and that's horrifying.
Oh my god!
So you're just faced immediately with the harsh, cruel reality of nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in robot form.
The food chain.
So yeah, that's my... Yeah. I calmed down a lot when we got through the sewer pipe tubes, the glass Mario tubes, to see all the different different fish swimming around. That was much more wholesome. It's a very cool place. Check it out.
Oh, good.
Honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have those scary animatronics there anymore.
Okay.
But I have heard, like, Disneyland used to have these animatronics under the sea as well, very similar. It might have been Disney World, or I have no idea, but I read somewhere it was easier and cheaper for them to not remove them from the water and just concrete over the water.
Whoa.
And this might just be a rumor, but if it's true, there's terrifying animatronic animals and such under the sea, under concrete, like under Florida.
What the fuck?
So scary, especially if they're as vicious as the Cully Tolton's ones.
That's insane. Someone should make a movie about being trapped in there, because that sounds fucking ridiculous. Holy shit. Wow. I love it. Okay. And on that bombshell, shall we go into the old Floyd watch of March of the Penguins?
Let's talk about how March of the Penguins played out on mute, with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon playing 1 6/8 of a play.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. The movie starts as you do. Speak to me, opening titles, all this stuff. For the watching this is the first movie that I've had to watch mask on, by the way, which was very strange because we were currently in a lockdown here in New Zealand at time of recording. And so, I hadn't had to do that so far. And that was strange, but I just thought I'd report that.
I guess it puts you in a similar mindset to the people filming it, because they would have covered their faces for the cold and the stink, and you're just avoiding the germs and maybe the stink, who's to say?
Maybe the stink. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Various stinks.
I've got to say about the opening titles effect that they use in this movie is like The Thing meets Law and Order. Like, we're supposed to be watching a 90s legal horror movie. It was very strange. I don't know who talked the director and I assume Morgan Freeman into this choice, but it was weird. It didn't suit the whimsy of penguins at all. Very spooky, but it did sync with Pink Floyd incredibly well.
Yeah, it was. I was into it. It was a strange vibe, but it was great. Just like sweeping vistas of everything as we go into Breathe.
Yeah.
Of the Antarctic landscape, with the credits coming up, as you say. Fun fact as well: this movie is an entirely French production, which I only realized watching these opening credits and seeing so many French names. Basically, Morgan Freeman's the only non-French person on the team.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that's pretty nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the sequel doesn't actually have an English release yet or something like that. Or it was unreleased in English-speaking territories for ages.
I'm glad you brought the sequel up, because how can there be a sequel to March of the Penguins? I have no further questions after watching this movie about the March of the Penguins. There's no unanswered information. What possibly could they
how
add?
could there be a sequel to Space Jam?
Yeah, right? Oh, man. Great point. But... it's just, I'm shocked that there's a sequel. I haven't seen that either, obviously. So maybe it covers off, I don't know, maybe more of like a climate angle for the penguins. I don't know, because that's a more I say it's a more recent development. It's not at all, but people are talking about it now for once. But yeah, anyway,
that would make sense. That's probably good sequeling, in that we'd learned the penguins' story, their full cycle of life, and now we watch what happens when that gets thrown out in some way. Maybe it's penguins in the big city.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's always the way to go.
That is the
sequel
way to go.
In a new location, and then third sequel in space. Penguins in space.
I mean, I'm on board for that. Absolutely. Yeah. Pinguino in space.
Oh, they're jetpacking around to get to their ancestral home planet.
Wow. That's very good. They do look kind of alien, don't they? Penguins, like...
They're so strange.
Yeah, they've got, like, a strange texture to them, and that they, like, have feathers, but they're, like, very coarse, tight feathers to their body, and... Like, they have such a startling transition from chick to fully grown penguin. They look like...
Yeah, they're like Pokemon.
Yeah. They're, like, lithe and strange-shaped, but I'm fully into them. Especially, we're talking specifically emperor penguins here. Yeah, we have a penguin.
Yeah, get out of here, chin-strap penguins.
Yeah, dang.
Go play bass for Crazy Town.
Yellow-eyed penguins.
Yeah, blue penguins.
There are so many.
We totally haven't run out of other penguin breeds we know.
There's countless.
Yeah,
so here we get Morgan Freeman chiming in subtitle format here. It is kind of a shame that we don't get to hear Morgan Freeman's dulcet tones, because he is like the selling point, other than the penguins, for this movie, right? He is holding down the ship here. And yeah, I just love that he just launches into a conversation about continental drift. It's like, damn, what an opener. Oh, it's so good.
Not enough people were talking about it. The fact we all used to be one big friend, and now we're all little friends.
Those were the days, man. Pangea?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Let's have a reunion tour.
Bring back Pangea. I feel like that will fuck people up. I want to, like, if I'm ever involved in or if ever there's like a dumb as fuck protest that doesn't endanger the lives of people participating in it, Gareth, I'm going to attend and bring a sign that says "Bring back Pangea," and hope to get on the news.
I feel like that could be a full movement, the Pangea. Bring back Pangea.
It's really
looking at
funny.
like rockets that can move the countries back to place.
It's like a Team Magma move from Pokemon. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Fuck this water. All land. Oh my god. Anyway, Morgan Freeman starts launching in, talking about all the penguins. He describes them as stubborn beasts and stalwart souls. The amount of like ways that Morgan Freeman learns to describe these penguins is incredible. His verbiage throughout this movie is some of my favorite shit. It makes it so dramatic in a great way, where most of the time we're just watching these little birds just doing their thing.
Yeah.
You know, in case you didn't realize that's what March of the Penguins is all about. It's about what a bird do.
It is what a bird do. What a wet bird do.
Yeah. What put in the water and wetter. Goodbye. See ya. But yeah, we see the penguins here for the first time in the distance, at a great distance.
So far, so blurry.
And then, Morgan is introing what's going to take place. He's saying that this is a tale of life over death, and we go into On the Run as he says this, and Pink Floyd sing Race Towards an Early Grave, which is a prophetic lyric for this film. Unreal. He is also saying that it's a tale of love, and then we get the title card appearing on screen here.
Pretty much exactly as the songs change as well.
Yeah, happy about that.
Sweet, yeah.
You're saying that like we're watching all the male penguins on their walk to the breeding grounds. It's kind of weird that they're like separated. I guess the females all gather in one spot and then the males go there later with the food because they got to hunt all the food. Anyway, they're walking with full bellies. They're on the walk more so than on the run.
Yeah. Well, not even that. I think so begins the probably 45-minute segment of us talking about how a penguin does move.
Yes.
But it syncs with Pink Floyd incredibly well. Their little rhythm of they're either waddling, so they're doing like footstep, 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 which is always in key with the drums. Or if the song speeds up, these penguins get on their bellies. And Morgan Freeman says it happens if they're like tired of moving their feet, but then they're using their feet way more to like pedal their little slidey belly movements around.
Yeah, man.
And it again, so in sync with Pink Floyd's rhythms.
Yeah, it's very good. I liked it a lot. If I were a penguin, Gareth, I feel I would be doing this belly move all the time. It seems like the most efficient. They're way faster than when they're like waddling very slowly. I guess they're trying to conserve energy when they're waddling, but yeah, they're like the belly slide seems like an incredibly efficient movement style. I want to develop this ability in my human form. If I can like get, if I can get really good at like laying on a skateboard and then just zooming around, I feel like things would be way more efficient if everyone was doing that.
Okay, hear me out. So we get you a wetsuit.
Okay.
Or something very like low friction.
Yeah.
And then we attach small balls to it, like tiny, tiny balls, like almost a mesh. Actually, yeah, almost a chainmail vest. But some entirely little balls on axles. So you're going to have to be greasing these a bit.
Okay.
And then hopefully they move, whoosh, they get pushed by your momentum.
The whoosh push
each other like pendulums.
Yeah.
And that should keep you going, right?
I imagine so. If I'm well greased enough.
Yeah, that's the other side.
Yeah. I need to, if only I can secrete my own grease like the penguin.
What about like a grease necklace? Like you're always wearing your tube of grease and you just squeeze it, the grease falls down onto your front. Or you're always sloppily eating a pizza.
Okay, hey.
And then you slide away.
I'm back on board. If I like main diet eating pizza and I'm just slithering around on the ground, that's the life I desire. Oh my gosh.
How do we get those bull mesh slidey shirts to become official Pink Floyd merch?
Oh my god. I just with the right print on the back so that you can see them when you're sliding. Oh my god.
Pink Floyd, 15 albums in stores now.
Yeah. I can see one of their album covers just being people sliding around on their bellies.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Right?
A bunch of businessmen doing it.
Yeah. It's very
The album's called Look at These Idiots.
Wow. That's the most most interesting title yet. I love it.
Yeah, they're least subtle.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Okay. What are we even doing? Where are we? Okay. Yeah, so we get the crash sound in On the Run, but this only really plays over penguins walking from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen, which we're going to get a lot of. It's not, I wouldn't say that that's a sync, Gareth. I've been doing this a little while, and I don't think that counts. But yeah, I did enjoy that. It did make me laugh out loud when I saw that that's what aligned. Anyway, also all the clocks go off over basically nothing. He talks about we go into time though. Morgan Freeman talks about how the ice is all different from when they first came out here, and so they're having a bit of a trouble getting back to the breeding ground. It's weird. He's like, they don't know how the penguin knows its way back to the same place where it was born, but it just do know. It knows how, and nobody know what a penguin knows. Anyway, yeah, so there's just a lot of walking, a lot of belly sliding. to the ominous chords of time. And it works. I don't know, man. Like, they're just the animal of choice for Floyd. I feel like that
they are.
It's like beyond pigs, right? I feel like pigs wouldn't actually. If you're watching a bunch of pigs, if this was March of the Pigs, I don't think we'd be seeing. Like, I don't think we'd be saying this. I don't think.
No,
they aren't as serene as animals as the penguins are. You know?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. A lot of serenity.
I was like, there's got to be some sort of connection. Like, they must have written a song about penguins before. There was nothing connecting the Pink Floyd and penguins on Google, except for one Reddit comment that was like, who would win, Pink Floyd or the Madagascar penguins?
Wow.
And nobody commented. Nobody cared what that guy about that guy's hypothetical.
How old is this thread? Are we still able to comment? Because we could.
Oh, I have no idea.
We could go in and offer our expert opinion. Maybe let's settle it. Who would win, Pink Floyd or the Madagascar penguins?
So those guys are crafty.
They are.
But also Pink Floyd are humans.
Yeah.
But they are older humans now.
It's true.
Yeah, but I guess those penguins are probably old penguins.
Yeah.
That movie came out in like 2006.
They've been at it a while.
Yeah.
My money's on the Madagascar penguins, mainly because they have the like animated advantage, much like the Toon Squad in Space Jam. I feel like they'd win out in the end.
Yeah, they'll learn to do much like in Space Jam Legacy. They'll learn to Our New Legacy. Sorry,
woo.
Space Jam: Our New Legacy. They'll learn how to like use their wacky cartoon abilities.
Yeah,
and I think doesn't one of them have a bomb in his tummy at all times?
That sounds right. Yeah. They can deploy knives a lot, from what I know of the Madagascar penguins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very few knives deployed in this film.
Yeah, David Gilmour's not pulling out a bomb from his tummy and lobbing it at anyone.
Just into the audience.
Yeah.
I think they should do that. That's really fun.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
Maybe that's what they're, everyone's getting new skills in 2020 and 2021. Maybe they're learning basic knife swallowing and bomb swallowing.
All kinds,
Yeah.
They got to save a little bit of bomb for later to feed to their young.
Just a little fuse drops out. Floyd Jr.
Yeah, man. Oh my goodness. Speaking of bombs, we're ticking away the moments that make up the dull day here. As as there's not really much to report because the penguins are just walking and the nights get longer. It's a long ass journey. It takes like months or something, this walk. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, but they converge on the place, the birthplace of penguin kind here, the birthing grounds. And during time, Morgan Freeman says they sometimes arrive even on the same time, which I'm very happy about. In fact, this isn't the only time he does it. In the second playthrough, he also says the word time during time. So that's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we got to allow that.
Yeah. There's only so many words. A lot of the time it's just letting the penguins do their thing and saying nothing. So
there was a lot of times where I was like, are the subtitles on?
No.
And I was like, oh no, this is just a penguin going about its day.
You're just basking in the glory of the Gwins. Yeah. But yeah, so they all arrive over... well, not all of them. Some of them arrive. And we get into... I've written the funniest sentence I think I've ever seen, which is, time solo plays as we see the raucous gathering of birds. Which is...
you're not going to get that from any other movie, not even The Birds.
Nah. Oh, man. A raucous gathering of birds is my review of March of the Penguins. Put that on the poster. Morgan Freeman's saying that they come here because the ice is thicker, so as the ice melts, their babies won't disappear into the water, which is a good call. they get into finding a mate now, which is the next stage of the journey. It's just like dudes wandering around looking for a lady friend, as if this were a giant club social. It's Morgan Freeman says that penguins have one partner every season. They're monogamous, but only for this one period. So like they find a partner for the year. They do this whole rigmarole that lasts 9 months, and then they move on and do it again with a different partner next year until they die.
Gosh, that's got to be awkward. Like, let's say you're the male penguin, you really hit it off with last year's mate.
Yeah.
And now it's the next year, you're huddling on an egg and you're in the huddle right next to your like paramour's new mate, and you just gotta be like, what is it, like 3 months just staring at him?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the discussion during that time is going to be about past mates, and a lot of fighting, a lot of bashing each other around, but you're all in the same boat. It's like a big submarine at that point, right? Where everyone, like, you might not like everyone in the submarine, but you're all in this together, right? You can't you can't be getting all hunt for Red October down here. Okay. I
imagine all those bro penguins sitting shoulder to shoulder, they're starting some like buzzy podcasts.
Yeah, man.
Those guys have some good ideas. And like, bro, once we hit the ocean, we're gonna finally do it. We're gonna start that podcast.
You get enough penguins in a room and eventually they pitch this podcast.
This exact one.
Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, Big MF also tells us that there are more. Yeah, here he is. I'm gonna save time in my notes, man. There's a lot.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. He's the greatest MF I know. But yeah, he says there's more female penguins than male penguins, and we'll find out more about this later. Bit of foreshadowing. Which is interesting in this documentary. He also says that during this bit with like the attracting of a mate, he says they're not that different from us, really. And then he describes various ways that penguins are similar to humans. He says that they pout and they bellow and they strut. And they engage in contact sports, and then we just see penguins like hitting each other with their flippers for a bit.
Morgan Freeman hasn't been invited to play a contact sport in a while.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think he knows what a sport is, much like me.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's much slapping of bellies going on around here. So, and. The Floyds come in and sing about coming home cold and tired, which is kind of what the boys have done here, right? This is sort of their home. Later on, a different home is described, but that's fine. We get into Great Gig, as most of the Gwins have paired off. They're all grouped together, and we get some, as we listen to Great Gig, Gareth, we get some tender penguin love moments.
Yeah.
Just these paired off penguins in slow motion just sort of caressing each other.
Yeah.
It's
lots of close-ups, lots of interesting penguin climbing.
Yeah. It's a pretty wild match. Penguin sex scene over Great Gig in the Sky. I wouldn't have thought, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty strange. Also, Morgan Freeman leaves the room for this situation. He just lets us sit with this for basically the entire song. It feels like weirdly voyeuristic watching this and hearing Great Gig. It feels like I'm watching, like, I should give these penguins a bit of privacy. I wonder how much the crew was feeling the same way. You know?
I think they might have been given the real baller ones some privacy, because we stick on these two penguins who, like, you gotta love their enthusiasm, but they don't know what they're doing.
No.
One is climbing the other, but not like climbing like a euphemism.
No.
This penguin is just like essentially standing on top of another penguin. Like, are we doing it?
Yeah.
Are you feeling it?
Basically, that's what it feels like we're watching. It's not like, all right. I guess I don't really want to see what it looks like when it's working. So, you know, I kind of appreciate the movie for restraining itself in that way. It's not the sex tape of the penguins, you know?
The walk of shame of the penguins.
Oh, no. That's still to come.
Yeah. That's the 4th sequel after Space.
Yeah, into it. But yes, Morgan Freeman comes back into the room now that the proceedings are complete and says that this is the beginning of the 8-month courtship of the penguins here. We had the month to get here, and then and now it's time to wait for that egg. And also wait for the winter that will try and destroy it. It's like, oh fuck. Okay.
That's such a prophecy kind of energy.
Yeah, it really is. Kind of terrifying. It's like Morgan has orchestrated this. We get like some really nice clean cuts in time with the music to the sun setting over the penguins because winter is beginning, and the sun, as you know, in Antarctica disappears for months on end and doesn't rise during the winter months. I don't know, that's a sweet fact about Antarctica. So it's about to get real cold. You thought it was cold before? Shit's gonna get colder. Look out.
That's also on the poster.
Yeah. But yeah, they're saying there's also some penguins arriving late to the party here. They didn't realize that this was March of the Penguins and thought it was Saunter of the Penguins and got here very short, and not in time to find a mate. All the babes are taken, and there's a couple of sad boy penguins wandering on the rim, and yeah, it says they just wander off, and we just watch this penguin wander out into the night, and Morgan Freeman says the lone penguin will die alone. It's like, oh fuck. This isn't the first time where I was kind of shocked at how callous the descriptions of this is. But yeah.
Do you think Morgan took this gig because he hates penguins?
It could be. Maybe he had a bad experience.
Yeah, he went to Cully Tolton's.
Yeah, he
he went under Disneyland.
Yeah. Oh, he got trapped there. We'll cast him in that film adaptation for sure.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. We go into money as we get a fade to black, as we're transitioning out of this scene. There are scenes in this movie. And then, we return to see the colony of bros in frigid winter here. They're all huddled together in the face of a big storm that's rolling in. They're getting covered in snow and huddling together for warmth. And we get a shot of the full moon here, which I'm stoked about.
Oh, yeah.
In case you forgot, it was night, I suppose. We also get Morgan Freeman saying that moons come and go as this process happens, which is just a weird way of saying that it takes many nights.
Yeah, don't get the Morgan Freeman calendar. Sun comes and goes.
Oh, it's everybody's here at the moment. By the way, it's not just the bros. I was wrong. It's the full family. That's right. They're hanging out here. Yeah. Waiting for the egg to come, and eventually in June, they do. They arrive. We get that little egg perched on the penguin's feet.
This is such a perfect shot as well because the egg is revealed under a penguin's belly.
Yeah.
And then Pink Floyd sing "Get Back" and the penguin covers the egg again. Sorry guys.
Sorry. Oh, okay. Yep. You're probably right. Probably a good call. Got to keep that egg warm under my little penguin pouch. So cute, honestly. This is one of my favorite things that penguins do. That they've got this big old belly that hangs down and covers up their little egg to keep it warm. I just think it's great.
Yeah, and it's so effective because we see when the belly is lifted for too long and the egg cracks and freezes.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't expect this little tummy curtain to be nature's strongest force, but here we go.
Yeah, thank goodness it is. But yeah, so they do. Now it's time for the mums to go and eat because they've been out here for fucking ages without eating while they have this baby. And so they're bloody hungry. And so they transition the eggs. They like roll them across the icy floor to the dads to cover with their bellies. And yeah, we see like a lost egg. They show an egg on the ground, like cracked and freezing, which is horrific. Like maybe one of the more horrific things I've seen in a film. Like very,
honestly,
very dark. Yeah, very brutal. But anyway, yeah, just over money, which feels really weird as well.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of these moments where I had to remind myself that they would have done way more damage if they tried to intervene.
Oh my god, yeah.
The crew would then picked up the egg and be like, no, you'll be okay, and tried to give them back to a penguin or something. Like, that would have messed everything up for everyone.
Yeah.
But, like, you still don't love to see it.
No, definitely not. It's not a good time. And yeah, Morgan Freeman says that the long march for these two was in vain. It's like, fuck.
So cruel.
I know. And yeah, they just leave. The failure parents just have to leave and go back to the sea. But yeah, so they transfer the egg. We see them do it successful. A penguin couple. We see the penguin male catching the egg and putting it on his feet, on his claws. I do love the descriptor here. Yeah, he says he will shield the egg atop his claws for more than 2 months, which is just a great way of saying it. And then Pink Floyd at the end of Money is saying that they're giving none away, which is good because they're they're holding on tight to these eggs, keeping them close. And yeah, we go into Us and Them as the parents separate. It's time for the mums to go, to return to the sea and get some food in them. And the dads are going to hang out here and like fast, and not eat for ages. They go without food for 125 days.
Yeah,
which is ages.
Gosh.
That's
like the longest I go without food is when I'm asleep. Like I'm snacking all the time. Penguins are different to you and I.
They are built different, man. Yeah. Have you ever done? So in New Zealand we have this thing called I don't know if this is a worldwide thing. Have you ever done the 40-hour famine?
I have, yes. So they've you go 40 hours without eating and you get your like neighbors and stuff to sponsor you.
Yeah.
They've recently changed it, so it's like it's not just eating. You can do it with technology. You can do it with speaking and all these like, actually more fun and family-friendly things.
Yeah.
I did it once, and I think we misread the rules, but we ate a lot of really sweet barley sugars the whole time.
Yeah. No, you can. That's like the one thing you can eat, is because it was like a sponsor or something. I don't know.
I guess so. It was a terrible choice. Yeah. I felt dreadful all weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of the whole story. I didn't do it again. I don't think I raised enough money. I was, a little too nervous to walk over to the neighbours.
Yeah.
Because also we lived, I say it that we lived in the swamps of Christchurch, so we'd have to walk pretty far to get to the neighbours. You have to walk like up your driveway, down this tiny rickety street where the speed limit is way too high, down someone's long ass driveway, avoiding their dogs, and then you ring on their doorbell and they're like out back riding their quad bikes and they don't hear you, so you're like, okay, they're not sponsoring me. Then you repeat the process again. It was my march with the penguins, man.
Yeah, it was. Holy shit. You're out there for 125 days before getting a sponsor. Ridiculous.
Yeah, did you ever do it?
I didn't do it. No, I couldn't face the music of starving for that long, which is sad to say. Yeah. But my brother did do it once, And our strategy was interesting in that we tried to do as much activity as possible to distract from being so hungry. As the first time that we went and did archery, we did like mini golf and bowling and then archery one day.
Wow.
It was a day jam-packed full of activities. But that's actually a really bad strategy because you just get really tired out. By the time we got to archery, it was just not a good scene. My brother was in a bad state. But I was like, this is great.
You're having the best day. Full of proteins and...
We really should have been in it together, but I failed him as an older brother in that regard. But yeah. Right. Anyway, so yeah, I've written my next note is just that Pink Floyd sing "After All We're Only Ordinary Men" as we see the females on their journey to the sea, which is an anti-sync for me. There's no men in frame.
Sure. Ordinary or otherwise.
Exactly. And we get the breakdown of us and them as we see the full moon again, and then colony of bros here getting hit by the storm. This is what I was talking about earlier, but I moved it to the wrong place apparently. It gets to 80 degrees Fahrenheit below zero, according to Morgan Freeman, which, in doing a quick calculation on my phone that I'm about to do, is very cold. Below 80 degrees, negative 80 degrees. Jesus, negative 62 Celsius. Fuck, that's cold.
Yeah. Man, that's colder than Snoopy had to deal with on Snoopy's Christmas.
Yeah, man.
And I remember thinking that was cold.
Yeah. But they're all out here. Team Dad are out here balancing the egg on their little feet. And they have to keep moving around in order to keep warm. And also, like, rotate. They take it in shifts, like on the edge of the storm, of the edge of the group, so that everyone gets a chance to be in the middle where it's nice and warm and you're surrounded by other penguin boys. It's interesting. It's a very equitable scenario for an animal kingdom. Like, I don't know whether or not that's true or that's something that Morgan Freeman made up, but if it is true and they're that organized, that's awesome. Yeah. We see some, like, lost eggs again in the background here with the penguins just walking around and, like, knocking into them of just some tragic losses along the way. And
he's very good at, but some penguins were not so lucky, and show you something horrific. It's always they're not so lucky. It's like, I guess.
A lot of luck involved in this whole affair.
There's one penguin who's like got a four-leaf clover and a wishbone, and he's like, come on.
Please. They're praying to all the gods, all the penguin gods. And we cut from here to the mums reaching where... So it's like from one bleak scenario to another, they reach where they started their journey from, but now there's more ice because it's colder. So it's like even longer than that they have to travel back. It's like, it's messed up that Morgan Freeman chose this moment to come back and talk to them. Like, it's like, what? You could have seen them at the end of their journey. That would have been better. It's like, nah, they've reached where they started, but there's still a long way to go. It's like, fuck. Okay.
But he does show us. He comes back entirely just to show us a penguin move side to side during the lyric move from side to side.
Yes.
So I think that's his purpose.
All right.
That and to make us feel sad.
Oh, yeah, basically. That's fair. So it gets to Any Color You Like as we finally reach the water's edge. They dive in search of food. Penguins in the water, so much more graceful than they are fucking rocketing around in the sea. As that book describes from your childhood.
Exactly.
It's wild. They are powerful beasts down here. Yeah, he described...
It looks so fake because they stay completely still and just torpedo around.
Yeah, right? Where's all that energy coming from? Their little claws? Damn.
Yeah.
They're powerful flippers, probably, I guess.
I think they can propel themselves, if they're in the water, they can then propel themselves to leap 2 meters above the
Fucking
water
hell.
level.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's so high.
And they can drink seawater because they have a special gland in their mouths, or somewhere in them, that like can absorb salt water. And then if they've got too much salt, they just sneeze it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be a very useful thing for humans to develop. Oh my gosh. That'd be great.
Do you reckon that's why penguins are the mascot of New Zealand crisp company Bluebird?
They're just sneezing salt onto the chips?
Oh no. That's what
so.
ready salted means.
Yeah.
That's the vinegar.
Oh no, I don't want to
Salt
know.
and vinegar.
Don't want to know.
Penguin sneeze.
Yeah.
Sorry. Ugh.
Yuck.
Well, just heard from our sponsors, we've lost Bluebird.
Damn it. X-Pol, get at us. Yeah. X-Pol is also a penguin-based brand in New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
They do underfloor heating and have a great song.
About the warmest feet in the world.
They are, yeah.
Oh.
Mate, if penguins got hooked up with X-Pol, they would have no problem raising their little chicks. That'd be sweet. You know? Just get them down
where's
there.
X-Pol going to put their money where their mouth is?
Exactly, right? Put the underfloor heating down in the penguin birthplace.
Yeah.
All right? I'll fund it.
It's not a terrible idea for the world.
Start a GoFundMe. Oh, gosh. But yeah, this zooming around, we get a couple of facts about penguins. They can hold their breath for 15 minutes and they can dive 1,700 feet, which seems really far. That's like deep sea fangly fish levels in my mind. But yeah, and we see like we come from these guys swimming around to the boys just hanging out and fasting. It's like a direct comparison of these like enjoying eating all this delicious fish, and then like all these lads just like just
my like song for scene list is just like exciting thing, males sit. Exciting thing, males sit.
Yeah, they're eating snow to pass the time out here to quench their thirst. These poor lads. Oh man. And yeah, we see like old ones. Like Morgan Freeman's like an old one just falls asleep and dies, and you're like, fuck, what? It's brutal. Yeah, they're going from like seeing us like a penguin's falling asleep and dying and going into brain damage that's that's exactly what this album's all about. I think.
The music made it sound like we were going to then see Penguin Heaven for a bit.
Oh man, I'm on board with that. They are just flying around. It's like they have the water physics, but it's just they can deploy them whenever they want. That's Penguin Heaven.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Deal.
Yeah. So we're getting brain damage, and Morgan Freeman's talking about an impending blizzard, like a very bleak weatherman, and he says they must resist the winter's rage. Which is fucking intense. And then we just watch the Southern Lights like wobbling all over the screen for all the brain damage, basically. It's real nice. They're like the chorus.
It works very well.
Yeah, the chorus of singers like going, ah, and watching the Southern Lights is real cool. Yeah. We see some seals hunting the mother penguins because they've returned to the ocean. There's like an extra bit of danger out here. We see most of the penguins narrowly escape, but then one gets caught, and Morgan's like, this seal has killed both the mother and the unborn chick.
Oh god, that's right. Yeah,
it's like fuck, dude. Anyway.
Do you think he's just improvising this stuff and the directors are like, shit, now we've got to find this depressing footage to match? We had a half-hour happy-go-lucky documentary on it, scripted, but Morgan just is so full of penguin rage.
Maybe, I don't know. Oh, that little man just like hates the penguins.
Yeah.
Don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it's July now. There's been a month of feasting, and it's time for the mother penguins to return with full bellies to feed the little baby chicks that are coming. And yeah, we go into eclipse as the sun is coming back after a long winter. So it's like rising very briefly and coming back now. So that's good. Probably for about like a couple of half hour at a time or something. And then, yeah, we're like right out of the first playthrough. Yeah, and it's for that full playthrough is just like the process of getting to have the chicks, and then the chicks hatch for the start of playthrough 2. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so nice. They're getting their own album.
Yeah.
I mean, the same album, but, you know, their own play.
Yeah, they're born on... This is playthrough 1 for them.
Yeah.
But playthrough 2 for the adult penguins. You see. Yes, it's the victory over winter as we see them hatching out of their little eggs. And, yeah. We say that, and then Morgan Freeman immediately undercuts it. He's like, but winter is not over. The worst is yet to come.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, just give these penguins a break.
Especially, like, I'm sure he did movies in between, but his most popular movies in the, like, early mid 2000s were March of the Penguins and Bruce Almighty, where he played God. So, like, if you're just renting whatever's the most popular thing at Blockbuster, you've got this idea that you're watching God judge these penguins and cause them harm.
It feels that way. Like, it feels like it's genuinely the same role. Like, he's just, like, walked... He's probably... if he's doing them at the same time, it's, like, taking a break from Bruce and just going in and talking about these little Bruces out on the ice.
Yeah, he's locking Jim Carrey out of his office, and he's just sitting back to watch his penguins.
Yeah. Basically. That's what he was doing in the meantime. Oh, man.
It's like when you hear about Topher Grace editing... He edited all the Hobbit movies together to deal with the stress of shooting BlacKkKlansman.
Wow.
Morgan Freeman said terrible things to penguins to deal with the stress of Bruce Almighty.
There you go. That's canon. That's a fact. Yeah, so we get to see the little chicks hanging out. The dudes are still doing their thing when they're wandering around and trying to keep everyone warm, rotating the edge of the penguin huddle as they do. But we get to see the little chicks poking out from under the belly flaps, and they're just yelling out, "Bugger me, it's cold! Why have I been born unto this frigid waste?" This is cute. These little guys are great. Anyway, the dads have been saving a little bit of food all this time for the little babies.
Yeah.
Which is, like, impressive dedication. And yeah, they give them a little bit of a feed. And yeah, it's like when your dad catches a little bit of food from dinner in his moustache, and like it's like, oh, I'm saving that one for later, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'd be that way if then your dad leant over and brushed it into your mouth.
Exactly. That's the later that they weren't telling you about.
Yeah.
Yeah. The for you is actually implied. Oh my god.
This is truly our Father's Day special.
Yeah. Shout out to all the dads and all the mums and all the penguins.
Yeah.
All right.
Especially.
Yeah. We get the end of Breathe again with Race Towards an Early Grave, and we had something for that, I remember, in the first playthrough. And now we see we see a dead chick here, which is awful.
Yeah.
That is the most poignant early grave I can think of.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Oh,
wow, yeah.
It's really rough, but a great sync.
Yeah. That's these moments where you're like, has our science gone too far?
Yeah, right? Kind of shocked me. We go into On the Run again, of course, as the horizon is coming back. We see the mums. They're coming in. They've converged on the mating ground, and and
the lads are so excited.
They're bloody ecstatic. They're calling out to each other. Everyone is talking, having a big old walk as they do. They're trying to find each other over the hubbub. It's a pretty chaotic and honestly pretty good fit for On the Run. I feel like I'm pretty happy with that. We get the crash sound over this too, but it's sort of hard to tell if it syncs with anything because everyone's making so much noise.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there could be a crash and you wouldn't even know.
Pink Floyd could be in the middle of this crowd.
Yeah, right? You would not even know because there's the amount of loud-ass penguins just calling out the name. Call my name. And yeah, they manage to find one another in the group, and the family is together for the first time as we move into time, and it's very nice. We get all the clock sounds coming in as it's time. It's family time.
The original title of Time by Pink Floyd.
Family Time.
Family Time.
Yeah. And yeah, so they swap the chick back to the mum. It's like, when I gave you this, it was an egg, and now you're giving me back a chick. That's pretty.
Look what I've done, love.
look at this.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool. And then the chick, after being transferred, we see it under the mum's pouch, and it's instantly shivering. It's like, oh, that was awful. Never do that again. Yeah. It's very good. And then there's a moment where the dad and chick sing to each other, which is important for later so that they can find each other later on. And I liked this coming back. I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of a weird thing to note, but it is important. And yeah, the chick gets its first proper feed from the mum out of its mouth, as the baby birds are wont to do. And then, it's time for the boys to head off on their journey to get a bit of food. And we heard that the mums, after giving birth, were about they lost a quarter of their body weight doing that. The boys have lost half. They are ravenous. It's insane. And Morgan Freeman says that this is why there are less male penguins than female penguins, because this journey back is so rough. It's a lot of the many male penguins don't make it. The older, weaker ones die off because they've just lost so much doing this. Pretty messed up. That's pretty good for time as well, talking about that. Like, these penguins growing old and dying on the way back. Like, that fits very well.
Yeah, they're so busy waddling towards their goals that they forget to realise time's passed. Yeah. It's exactly what Pink Floyd were thinking.
They've been doing this mating rigmarole every year for the past X years. I don't know how long penguins live, but for a long time. And anyway, they've just been doing it for so long, they didn't realise that the time has caught up to them. And now they're just too old and they can't make it back. It gets harder every year, Man.
I'm on genius.com right now, and it's what if the artist said about the song, and that's the exact quote Nick Mason from Pink Floyd said about time. Wow.
Amazing.
It's inspired by the many, quote, beautiful winters he spent marching with the penguins.
Wow. Many
and then there's a photo
winters.
of him deep in the 70s sitting on his own egg.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, congrats to him, eh? Like, man, who would have thought? What a fantastic insight. Yeah. So it's now we see the mums and chicks hanging out, and the chicks are growing stronger and getting bigger and fluffier, and but they're still hiding from the cold like little penguin gremlins under there, demanding food from under your belly pouch. And we are mid-time, and again Pink Floyd singing Time, the song, but Morgan Freeman is saying In Time again. This is where he says the second time, so I'm very happy about that.
There's also a matching shot during the digging away part of Time.
Oh.
Like, of a penguin. It's just a penguin of the distance, which I guess does happen a lot across this whole movie.
It's true.
But still.
Yeah, I'll take it. So that in Time, the chicks take their first steps outside, and we just get the shots of these little fluffy beans, like, wandering around and exploring and stuff. It's great. Penguin babies are some of the cutest animal babies. Like, animal baby category ranking, like, penguins have to be way up there. They are fluffy little dudes, and they look great. Like, there's the classics, right? Like kittens, puppies, you know, your own child probably ranks there. I don't know. But penguins have to be at least in the top 5. Like, they're looking good. These little babes.
I'd say they get extra points because, like, a puppy and a kitten are usually just small versions of what they'll end up being.
It's true.
Whereas, like, a penguin, well, it's like we said, they're like the first level of a Pokemon.
Yeah, they metamorphosis as they grow older.
So, like, extra points for being different enough babies.
Yeah.
Which, is what your own child has as well, I guess.
Yeah. I hope this doesn't make me sound too Cruella de Vil, but I want a jersey that is of similar quality to the little penguins, like, fluffy down that they have here. I don't want it to be made out of actual penguin down. Don't get me wrong. But I want something similar. These dudes just look so comfy out here on the ice, you know? If I could have, like, a big grey fluff that I could wear, that'd be great. I don't know.
I mean, I'll let you have that, because the moral, like, I don't think it's... We all know you're not going to take it from a penguin, because the moral of this movie so far is that you'll have to sit under a regular penguin to be warm, so... Yeah.
Sure.
No one's going to suspect you've stolen a penguin's feathers.
Good. I don't want that ever to happen.
I don't want... This is one bald penguin standing there.
No. I hate to think that. But yeah. So we get the final storm of winter, and the chicks hunkering down for this with the mums, and they're all... It's like a bit of a mirror image of when the boys were doing this as well. And we see more dead chicks here, as some chicks don't survive this storm because it's their first storm of winter. And Morgan Freeman says that for the parents, this is an unbearable loss. It's like, fucking hell.
Jeepers.
Yeah. And, like, not only this, we see the, like, mum, like butting at the little dead chick, trying to wake it up. And we get flashback shots of the penguin and the chick, the mother and the chick, to when the chick was alive. It's like, remember all these times we had together. It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
It's very bleak.
It's like, that would be too much if this was a narrative film.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact it's real, it's like, it's okay. It's sad enough. You don't have to remind us.
Yeah. It's like, I got it. I could, like, you can show me a dead penguin and I'll be sad, okay? You don't need to, like, flash back to when the penguin was alive to remind me how cruel this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the mum tries to steal another chick from someone else. But the group will not allow this. No. Penguins have a strong moral code. There's no way that this will go well. But many of them do survive. They're doing good, and they're hanging out, enjoying the sun. The little chicks all running around in big groups, having a good time. And then another evil force enters as a gull appears and tries to snatch away a little baby penguin. We don't see... I don't think we see the gull succeed in getting a penguin.
Nah, they show it. They give us that mercy of like this gull fails, and this gull is persistent.
Yeah, he's just nipping at these little penguins. But the little penguins are bloody quick as well out here on the ice when they need to be. They seem to be able to dash away from this gull pretty well. But yeah, presumably.
And one of them, like the way it dashes, goes exactly in time and is on screen for the same length as the like money descending scale. That dunga 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 dunga. It's the dunga 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 of an escaping baby penguin.
Oh,
yeah,
I like it. That's a sync, man. There's been a lot so far, by the way.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So they're giving them away, and it's time for the mothers to return and feed. So they're getting hungry. They haven't waited 125 days like the boys have. But anyway, they decide that it's time to go, and the chicks are strong enough to hang out on their own for a little bit. So they're just out here on their own as the mums leave. And yeah.
Their childhood ends as money ends and the sad organs
come in.
Us and them come in.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But we don't have to dwell on this for long, which is good, because the dads return with bellies full of food, very happy, and the chicks all call out to find their dads. And this is where we were getting the chicks recognize, like the dads have to recognize the call of their chick. Pretty cute. And yeah, they joyously reunite out here. And then like have another big old feed from the dads, and we see these very fat chicks.
Yes, it's so funny because it'll be like, the penguins are full, and then there's the smuggest, fattest baby penguin.
Yeah.
Like eyeballing the camera, like, did you see how much fish I just ate, bro?
So fucking much. Oh my god. I'm kind of glad that these little penguins get to enjoy this and get really fat, because they have to go through this like 125-day trial later in life. Like, you know. But so Big EMF comes back and tells us that this swapping back and forth between mum and dad going to the ocean and getting food happens for a few more months, shuttling food back and forth for the little baby. And they families spend a little bit of time together. We see, like, I think the like shot from the movie poster of the two penguins and the baby penguin in the middle. Which is like a classic setup. Very cute. And yeah, we get some like slow-mo shots of these two penguins hanging out as like a bonded pair, and it's very nice. And then it's described that the ice is getting thinner and thinner as we go into summer, and the treks are getting shorter. The treks to the ocean are getting shorter as the ice melts, and eventually the chicks have enough of a winter coat to make a travel themselves, and they come along. Yeah. And they travel the relatively short distance now to the ocean to feed for themselves. And there we go. Like the family splits up. They go their separate ways.
They'll never see each other again.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman says.
Yeah, which is wild. I think they probably, like, by sheer coincidence, probably would at some point. There must be some crossover. But anyway, they go their separate ways. It's like a penguin divorce, but it's amicable. And the penguins return to the ocean with their new members. And the little baby penguins go out here and like dive into the sea for the first time, and we see them swimming around all happy, which is very cute. They're not very good at it
no.
at this stage. But then we learn that it's 4 years of baby penguin time where you just get to frolic as babes out in the water and eat as much as you like, and then they too will join the march of the penguins.
Feel the call.
And then there you go. We get into the credits over any color you like. And for the credits, we finally see the crew. They show like behind the scenes footage of how they shot all this with people and all the setting up all the camera shots and things. They're very difficult to do out in Antarctic. And I like that this is part of the movie. Like, this is right at the end.
Yeah.
It would feel weird seeing a human on camera for this.
Absolutely, yeah.
So saving it for the credits is very nice. And
so there's a couple little things, like they couldn't check any of the film or anything because it would freeze. So they had to just kind of remember what they shot and like mark it down later and hope they didn't run out of film while they're out on the ice.
Yeah.
And also on the other side of the screen with the credits, they say score composed by blah, blah, blah. And then they credit flute solos, scrolls past, piano scrolls past, bassoon scrolls past, and then accountant scrolls past.
Always an underappreciated part of the orchestra. I find, like, no one is giving props to the accountants of orchestras, okay? First accountant is a very sought after chair, and no one's paying their due. I feel like that the conductor should at least give us a point of the baton every now and then, but it never happens. And I'm just
you're out there playing the calculator.
Yeah, man, I'm performing as much as anyone else. All right,
yeah,
the music of math. Yeah,
when that orchestra plays "Money" by Pink Floyd, you know they're going to need you.
Oh, right. Absolutely. Like, they aren't gonna. It's all gonna be off. If you don't understand money, you don't understand music. Wow, that's a sentence I've said. What did you think? How did it sink, Garrett?
I mean, I've got to say it. Not only was this one of our strongest syncs, this was one of our most enjoyable syncs. Like, the movie was giving exactly what the album was giving. Like, they drifted apart, I'll say. There was times when it felt like the album was sitting there in the cold while Pink Floyd went for a swim, and then vice versa.
So true.
But for me, it's a high number.
I agree.
Like, yeah.
It was very enjoyable experience, which is something that is rare on the show. But yeah, it was great. I think the documentary format really suits the old Floyd playing in the background. I'm kind of shocked, but
well, it should be very sad if we've spent 71 episodes chasing the wrong tail.
No, it's fine. Like, this is what it was all about, you know. It's all about the journey, Gareth. We're doing our own march out here of the penguins, okay? Every now and then we get to meet and record a podcast together, okay? And on those, and our podcast is like, yes, the chick? I don't know. But
and we hope this episode grows up to record its own podcast in 4 years.
Yeah.
But who's to say?
Who's to say? Yeah, I'm feeling like a 9. I feel real good about it.
Yeah, it's a 9 for sure.
Sick.
Oh, on the graph.
Yeah, there it is. Plotted. Okay, so next week, post-Penguin, what are we doing? Gareth?
Well, we're gonna return to narrative for a bit. Okay. You know? If we've gotta rest.
I'm okay with
it. Kind of make sure we're not drunk on documentary highs.
It's true.
So we'll return to there hasn't always been narrative. Narrative is a new concept for animals, right? And it grew from myths and legends.
Oh.
So we've got to pay our respect for that. And you know, if we're out here giving 9s to March of the Penguins, you've got to be aware that that's a claim that they may shun. A claim they shun.
Oh no.
A claymation. So we've got to, I think it's time we studied a claymation myth, a claymation legend. And that is, of course, 1963's Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I watched a tiny clip of it to make sure it was suitable, and a man talked in the most fantasy voice I've ever heard, so...
Hell yeah.
I know someone named James Barron who's going to be excited.
I'm about to ascend to my final form after this film. That's a fair warning.
Ah, yes.
Like Cell.
The people who are excited for Jason and the Argonauts and not the people who are excited for your sick Cell reference.
That's fine. That's all right. All right.
Oh my gosh. Awesome. Wow. Yeah. So we'll be enjoying the stop motion glory of that.
Yes.
And maybe we'll record the whole podcast in 12 frames per second. Yeah. Just to say.
Maybe you could stop your motion and listen to it and give us a like on Facebook, Twitter, all the platforms. Get at us.
Yeah. And then... no, I thought I had a stop motion pun as well, but I didn't. But made of clay, it's me, Gareth Blackler.
Perched atop your claws, it's James Barrett.
Oh, that's great. This has been Sync Floyd. Hey, thanks for listening, you know? I don't think we've ever thanked the listeners before.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah. And until next time, we'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
Warmest feet in the world.
Oh, yeah.